So I've told you this before. It's important to know this for the story, that what the scientists are saying now, that everyone's going to get COVID. So you're not going to get away from it, and it's going to be here forever. So everyone's going to get it. No matter what you do, you're going to get it. And what we tell people at this show, prepare to get it. Get your vitamin D's up. Get your zinc, vitamin K. Lose weight. The obese suffer much worse disease. They're hospitalized at a much higher rate for COVID. So those are the things that you have control over. Find out where you can get your monoclonals before you get sick, because you have to find out where you can get those. Go Google it. Where do I get my monoclonals? Talk to your doctor, because a lot of doctors won't give it to you. So you got to find a doctor who will give it to you. So get your vitamin D's up. Super important. Vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin K, zinc, lose weight. And then, so prepare. We should also be building more hospitals. We should also be building more ICUs instead of closing them. And plus, there's now treatments. So there's monoclonals. So get ready to get it, because you're going to get it. Also, it's never going away. The WHO says it will never be eradicated. The global health experts say it's going to circulate and mutate in a similar way to the flu. Now, I'm told, so here's about, do vaccines stop transmission? Well, they don't stop transmission of the virus. But according to the FDA, this is from the FDA, right there, FDA.gov, most vaccines that protect from, because the question is, does the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine stop the spread of the disease? Most vaccines that protect from viral illnesses also reduce transmission of the virus that causes the disease by those who are vaccinated. While it is hoped this will be the case, the scientific community does not yet know if the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine will reduce such transmission. That's from November 19th, 2021. I got that. So YouTube says I can't say that. I can't say what the FDA just said. The YouTube says, according to YouTube, the official narrative is that they reduce the transmission of the virus. That's the official, that's what they say. It's not what the FDA says, but I have to tell you, the official position of YouTube is that vaccines do reduce the transmission of virus. And in fact, the CDC says so. COVID-19 vaccines are effective at protecting people from COVID-19. When they say from protecting people from, they mean from getting disease, not from, that's what that means. But then they say, and it helps keep adults and children from getting seriously sick. COVID-19 vaccines can reduce the risk of people spreading the virus that causes COVID-19. So the CDC says it can, and the FDA says they hope. So there you go. That's CDC and the FDA. And it was, I had a hard time finding the WHO's official stance on this, but I did find the CDC's and the WHO's and YouTube's official position is that vaccines reduce the spread. But that's what the FDA says. They hope it does, and the CDC says it can. So there you go. So why do I tell you all this? I tell you all that because COVID is now fining people over 60 years old who refuse getting a COVID-19 vaccine.
Say it again, Greece's.
Did I say Greece?
You said COVID's.
Oh, I meant Greece. I said Greece is fining people who are 16 older who refuse to get the... Isn't that something?
Horrifying.
What's with this picture, too? The dignity of old age. Why wouldn't you just roll up your sleeve? Why would you pull your... He's pulling his... Why would you pull it down like that? Doesn't that seem...
Yes.
I mean, they say as you grow older, you become more your own person. So there you go, right? Isn't that what that is? The dignity of age. So Greece is to make COVID vaccinations mandatory for people aged 60 and over. Fines of 100 Greek things or $113 will be imposed at monthly intervals from mid-January on those who refuse. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis said. That's a tacky move. About 63% of Greece's 11 million population is fully vaccinated, but data show more than 520,000 people over 60 are yet to get the jab. Greeks over the age of 60 must book their appointment for the first jab by January 16th, the premier said in a statement to the cabinet. Their vaccination is henceforth compulsory. While countries have made vaccines mandatory for health workers and other high-risk workers, Greece will become the first in the European Union to target a specific age group. Greeks were also the first civilization to use coin money, ironically the real reason the measures are being imposed. Syria, or Syriza, is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. Greece's main opposition party called the new measures punitive and financially excessive. So you're going to put a tax on some of the most vulnerable people in society, old people, retired people. Over 25% of Greeks are at risk of living in poverty, and that was from a pre-pandemic review in 2020. So I can only imagine what it is now. Mr. Mitsotakis said the decision had tortured him, but he felt a heavy responsibility in standing next to those most vulnerable, even if it might fleetingly displease them. Everyone's going to get COVID. Everyone's going to get COVID. And from what it looks like, what's happening is as the virus mutates, it becomes more contagious and less deadly. That's what it looks like. And everyone's going to get COVID. So this idea, if you're vulnerable, you should get a vaccine. Because you're going to get it. And if you're vaccinated, you can still shed the virus and infect other people. So the vaccine reduces severe disease in the person who gets the vaccine. So if everybody's going to get it, who do you care if you get it from a vaccinated person or an unvaccinated person? That's my question. If everyone's going to get it, who do you care? Why do you care who you get it from? You should prepare to get it. And if you're in a vulnerable category of people, if you're elderly, have comorbidities, whatever, you should get the vax to protect yourself. But telling someone else, mandating that someone else do that to protect you, you're going to get it anyway. So prepare for it. I don't know what that is about. They would say we mandate everyone get vaccinated to protect the people from spreading it because, as the CDC says, it can reduce the transmission of the virus. But also the science is that everyone is going to get it. So who do you care who you get it from? Because vaccinated people can shed the virus too. Austria announces COVID vaccine mandate crossing a threshold for Europe. So Austria did that. Remember, they just did that. And Greece was saying they weren't going to do that. Wasn't that how we reported it? And now here they are. Now they're going nuts. The extraordinary step shows that governments desperate to safeguard public health and economic recoveries are increasingly willing to push for once unthinkable measures. Germany moves toward mandatory COVID shots as Europe clamps down. Yes, clamp down the Guten Titan. And we'll probably cover this more Saturday, just to let you know, police are setting up checkpoints after several people escaped from government quarantine facilities in Australia. So far, 3 fugitives have been caught. All 3 tested negative for COVID-19. But they're fugitives, even though they didn't have it. They didn't have COVID, but they had them in a quarantine facility. And here's a video of them checking. They're trying to find those 3 pricks. There you go. So we'll talk more about that. That's quite a tweet showing that. By the way, Hitler liked your tweet. Okay. just so you know. So we'll cover this more. They have a news report of it that's kind of crazy.
Good morning. We start with breaking news out of Darwin, where 3 people have escaped from the Howard Springs COVID quarantine facility.
3 people have escaped.
Talia Sava's there for us. Talia, good morning. There's a search underway right now.
Yes, that's right.
How about the sound effects on this news? Boom, boom. Badass news.
Yeah, good morning to you. We've been told the trio scaled the fence in the early hours of this morning. Police receiving reports around 4:40 a.m. Now, major police checkpoints
they're very nonchalant about it. I can't get over how nonchalant they are. So anyway, so that's what's we'll probably cover this Saturday or next Monday, the Australia part. But there you go. There's what Greece is doing after Austria, and then they said they wouldn't, but here they are. Now they're fining people. Again, someone has to explain to me how that makes sense. Because if everybody's going to get it, and you got to prepare to get it, and then by the way, once you get it, your natural immunity is fantastic, right? Because after you get COVID, then you have natural immunity, and that's supposed to be kick-ass. According to the Israel study, that's supposed to be really great. So I don't know where people go for their COVID news, because if you're listening to the big pharma funded news, you're not getting news about COVID. And in fact, whenever the establishment news would put a video up on YouTube talking about vaccines or COVID or anything, it would get unbelievably ratioed down, and so they got rid of the dislike button. They got rid of the dislike button. You know that. Anyway, you don't know. I suspect nefarious motives for doing that. It wasn't because we're trying to help little guys. It was because Big Pharma and our big advertisers don't want to see their shit get downvoted. That's why. Hey, we're doing live stand-up shows in Los Angeles, December 3rd, 10th, and 17th. The first 3 Fridays in December in Studio City at Two Roads Theater. If you're in Los Angeles area, see you there.